Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with the Soul. Thank you for being so patient. Yesterday, I had to make a quick run, and I wouldn't have been able to fit everything in time. So I'm happy to see you today. I hope you're here to join me this beautiful Saturday morning in Northern Illinois. If you don't know me, I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body-mind expert. I'm a shiatsu massage therapist, and I'm a master intuitive healer. Good morning, Robin. How nice to see you. Good morning, Pam. Nice to see you too. I'm someone who is a nerd for the body mind, and I've spent good morning, Mark, at least the last 10 years. And Mariana's here too. Wow, we've got a great crowd. You know, I've spent at least the last 10 years, if not longer, figuring out how all of this stuff works together, how our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our environment, all of that comes together. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about two of my mentors, actually. The first one, his name is Bruce Hardwick, and he was a 350-pound Ojibwe in the UP in Michigan. And he really opened up my mind to all the different ways that we heal ourselves, all the different things that affect how we move in the right direction. So for the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about how to heal anything. And we've broken it down into, smaller little things, from feng shui and, the furniture and the colors and the things that you surround yourself with, to ways that you trigger yourself to heal, to ways that you can get inflammation down by focus and hands-on work, if you need to avoid surgery or if you're trying to get your pain down. To a wide variety of ways that vibrations, thoughts, feelings, emotions, environment, people, direction, focus, goals, all of that can really help heal anything. And if you've seen any of the stories, there are miracles throughout time of how we have the ability to tip ourselves into the path of healing, because the body's what heals ourselves. That's where the real miracle happens. But we have to direct it in order to fix the things that need to be fixed. So the story is, I was at a conference at Northeastern Illinois University, and it was a team conference, so it was experiential education, and I'd been going there for years, and one of the people I loved, who was a close friend of mine, was Bruce Hardwick, and he was a sacred fire keeper, and he would do a sacred fire outside of the conference where everybody was welcome, and it would be a talking circle, and it would be a ceremony and things along those lines. And part of the conference, he always had time in order to do his own little thing. And so one year he decided to do a healing for someone who was struggling with cancer. And so, it's a college. It was the rec center that the conference was held in. And so they had racquetball courts. So he got one of the racquetball courts in order to do what he was going to do. And there were something like, 50, 60 people crammed into this racquetball court. And typically when we think about healing, we think about one person doing something to somebody else, especially energy healing. Okay, I'm a Reiki master, or I'm a hands-on healer, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And we think about kind of like one-on-one, and we limit, what we'll allow. Okay, we're all going to do Reiki. Okay, we're all going to do this. Bruce Hardwick was a thinker outside the box. He'd never graduated high school. And no, he did graduate high school, but I think by the skin of his teeth, maybe. And he yelled at his dog. And he had all sorts of challenges in his life, but he was a very well-respected international firekeeper and sacred messenger. And so he was going to do this healing. And so we all expected that we would watch him do some, ceremony or traditional healing on this man who was struggling with cancer. And he did something that I hadn't really seen before. He made it a group healing. And so there were all sorts of cool people that were in the room, that had a million different gifts and abilities. They'd had different trainings, passions, loves, ideas. And what he did, and he had his own magic bag of tricks, kind of like I do. And so what he did was he started giving everybody roles in this healing process. You know, he'd give this person a crystal and they needed to stand there, and he gave this person, you know, the need to place their, I know, it's a great memory. You know, somebody else to put their hands on, you know, his feet, and someone else to support, you know, the people who were doing it, and other people to play the drum, and other people to, you know, do the rattle. And by, it took like, you know, at least 40 minutes, I think, in order to assign everybody a job, in order to get everybody involved. And he really brought in the last piece of healing. You know, when we talk about energy healing, you know, we can talk about crystals and the resonance that they have, and we can talk about light therapy, and we can talk about, you know, all the different tools and therapies and techniques that we have. But the one that we miss the most of, I think, is community. You know, when we bring community together and there is a focused love, a focused kindness and compassion, that has a vibration to it that's measurable. You know, I talked about the Washington, D.C. meditation project, you know, a couple live streams ago. It has a measurable effect when we come together in healing. And so multidimensional healing isn't just doing this tool or doing this thing right. It's when we come together as a family, as a community, with everything. You know, not only intention, but also bring all the toys, bring all the things that you love, because they have an impact, not just metaphorically, not just a placebo effect, but they have an impact from the vibration that they bring. So the more stuff you can bring to the table, the more multidimensional it is. So last year, I decided to do a multidimensional healing with a program I was leading, Tools for Transformation. And so I called it Shamanic Healing. And everybody had a job, you know, and I got out all the stuff that I have running around, all the rattles and all the drums and the crystals and the, you know, and all the different therapies that everybody brings. And we all came together without judgmentalism, without, you know, saying, oh, no, you can't do this or you can't do that. It was acknowledging the fact that something has power because we believe in it, one. And something has power because it entrains to us. They act almost as magnifiers of our intention. So crystals, when they're used to magnify our own loving vibration, they're extremely powerful. The same thing with feathers, the same thing with, you know, as I said, light therapy, the same thing with bones and rocks and things from nature. You know, when we hold it close, when we're using it for something powerful, it entrains to us and it magnifies our ability to help people heal. So if you want to have really great healing, let's say for your knee or your hip, it's not about doing one thing. It's about doing a wide variety of things. When I work with people, I also like it that they're working with other energy healers, or that they're working with a psychotherapist, or they're also seeing their Western medicine doctor, and they're also seeing their Asian medicine doctor. You know, I like it that everybody comes together because, you know, when I've originally talked about healing and how we heal, you know, everything has a wide variety of dimensions to it. It's not so clear cut as our brain would like. It's not so easy to separate and say, oh, this means this, you know, this color means happy and that sound means sad. It's that everything has a color and a feeling and a thought and a belief and an emotion, and everything has multi dimensions to it. And when I come in, my gift is to affect some of the dimensions, but I can't do all of them. If we really want to heal something like a knee or a hip or whatever, we have to bring in the whole community. We have to bring in a wide variety of tools. You know, the problem that a lot of people hear or have is they try something and they say, oh, it didn't work, so it must not work at all. What they don't realize is that healing is a scale, where we've got enough things on one side of the scale that tips it, that allows us to reverse whatever pathway that we're going down. If we think that we should just power through or will through things, or, if we just take an Advil or a Tylenol or just do the right thing or the right exercise, that everything's going to be fixed. But that only addresses one aspect of what's going on. And so one of my favorite therapies is called Feldenkrais. And the philosophy behind Feldenkrais is it's not that you do the right thing, it's that you do everything. And my mentor, Bruce Hardwick, would say, if you don't know what to do, do the thing you haven't done before. Because that brings in another experience, another understanding, another vibration, another energy that moves us in a positive direction. And if you're worried that something might hurt you, if you're worried that someone might bring in a bad energy or negative energy or this is wrong, you have to realize you have so much power. If someone has negative energy, if someone has anger or hurt or frustration, if we sit there and think that we are weak and that we're being victimized by how somebody else feels, Cosmo Bob is here. Hi, nice to see you. If we think that we're being overwhelmed or powerfully affected by someone else's negative energy, it's because we don't recognize or realize the amount of power, the amount of strength that we have. We don't realize we have the ability to vibrate. And if you've got these intensifiers, like I talked about, if you've got the tools and the symbols and the things that help intensify the vibration you're actually giving off, that your cells are giving off and your emotions are giving off, you have the ability to turn the tide. You don't have to feel as if you're being victimized. And in fact, a lot of times when you can look at someone or a situation with compassion, the compassion has so much power because it not only brings in your mind, it brings in your heart, and it brings in your gut. And so now you're doing that multidimensional healing again. You're sending off a wave, a measurable wave that's being sent from multiple parts of you, from your pineal gland and from your heart and from your gut. So when you come into a situation, you have got the power to turn the tide. And so you've got the ability to turn anything that you think might be negative into a positive by seeing it in a positive way, by interpreting it in a positive way, by engaging with it in a way that sees it in the most powerful, beautiful light that you can. And when you do that, and then when you bring community together to do that, and when you bring all the different tools and toys, and rattles and drums and crystals and feathers and bones and, and smells and candles, and when you bring all that stuff together, you are almost unstoppable. So if you're trying to fix your knee, or if you're trying to fix your hip, or fix anything in you, one, get your thoughts and your emotions kind of cleaned up, because, if you've got a lot of stuff going on in your subconscious, then it's going to counteract, it's going to get in the way of what you're trying to do. Get yourself sort of in alignment with your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and you work on that. That's the personal work. That's the personal growth that you do. And when you do that, wherever you send your focus is where the vibration is sent. I know this sounds really mystical right now. I totally get that. But if you've been watching the last, weeks of videos, you understand that vibration is measurable. I'm talking about a very physical, measurable body sort of thing. So where you put your focus with all of your community and all of your love and all of your joy, where you put that, your body and your mind is going to heal that. Now, sometimes there's too many things on one side, that you can't tip the scale, But for so many issues and diseases and problems, the idea is to keep looking and to keep gathering all the different tools that you need, because it's when they come together synergistically, when they come together cooperatively and in attunement, that's what gives enough of the movement and the motivation, enough of the strength to turn the tides. It's kind of like, parting the waters. It's kind of like the ability to do miracles. Miracles are best done when you bring all of the heavy hitters on board. So if you think that you have to do everything by yourself, which a lot of us do, we like to do it in secret, we like to do it in hiding, we like to do it in our, little corner of our life and in our room and not involve everybody else, you're only using a fraction of the power of your healing ability. It's when you take that risk and you walk out and you bring in every single gift and you all have that same intention. From a wide variety of directions: color, sound, smell, metaphor, people, love, compassion, focus, intention. When you do that, you can make miracles. And if you stay open to it and you see it, then you see what happens. And if you watch through time, if you consistently do something like that, it moves it in that direction. You don't always see, miracles aren't always instant. They take a little bit of time to reverse the decades and decades of choices that you've made and habits and patterns that you have in your life. And so if you recognize you've spent, it takes a village. Absolutely, Lisa. Thank you. When you recognize that you have spent, most of your life doing these things that have gotten your knee into this position, that have gotten your hip into this position, or your relationship, or your kid, or your house, or whatever's happening, whatever's happening to you, you've spent a lifetime getting to this point. And so it takes that momentum, and it takes people in our lives to keep us supported so we stay on that goal. So the key is to set yourself up for success, to create a paradigm that realizes that if you keep taking that step and that step and that step, that the healing will happen. And if you bring together every single tool and every single, person and love and intention that you can, so many times it turns the tide. It's when we run out of time, or it's when we run out of energy, or we run out of, when we run out of life, that things aren't snatched from the fires quick enough. But if you start now, before something's really a problem, if you start healing the things that you have got that little weird thought about, that, oh, maybe I should address this, or I'm worried about this, or scared about this. If you're proactive and you start bringing together your community now, then where will you be in 5 years? What will you be doing with your life? What could you achieve? What could you accomplish? Don't give up. Start reaching out. Start working on those issues. And even if it's something as simple as starting a new breathing technique, or reaching out to someone that, that's weird or different, or, reading a new article or a book that you never have before. All of those have different vibrations. All of those will affect you differently. As Bruce would say, if you don't know what to do, do the thing you haven't done before. Good morning, Sherry. Nice to see you. And if you do that, then you will continue to heal yourself in a really great way. So that's multidimensional healing. Oh, I forgot to tell you one more story about one of my other mentors. And her name was Althea Northage. And she taught the school that I went to get my massage therapy training at. And she was one of the coolest human beings I knew, because she wasn't satisfied just to be an okay, I'll see you in 45 minutes too, Sherry. Yes, she was she was an acupuncturist, and she was an herbalist, and she was a high priestess in Kabbalah, and she worked with her husband, who was, in Masons, and they did structural therapy. And she did massage, and she did meditation, and she was one of the most eclectic people that I knew, and one of the most powerful healers too, because she didn't stop at just one thing. She didn't just specialize and say, this is the thing that I do. You know, she realized that you have to have as many different tools and techniques on your side and in your corner as possible. And so if you keep learning and you keep adopting and you keep polishing, good morning, Anne, nice to see you, and you keep polishing your mirror, that's how you become an incredibly powerful healer who has the ability to heal just about anything. So, you know, don't think that, oh, this is it, this is the one, this is the thing, because it's just one of the things. And don't think you can do it by yourself, because you can't. If you want to make the biggest changes and the biggest impact in the world, you have to do it in collaboration. You have to do it with other people. And you have to realize that you bring gifts to the table and they bring gifts to the table. And if we want to change the world, if we want to make an impact, we have to do that. So you've started by watching this video. Fabulous. You've started by joining this tribe. I'm so glad to see you, and I'm so glad you're here. And I'm excited about the changes that we're going to affect in the world by coming together. So I will see you Monday morning. And I'm not quite sure what the topic will be. If you want to leave in the comments, you know, things that you're interested in, things that you're fascinated by, I will able to, you know, we can have a conversation about that. We can have a dialogue and go back and forth, because I'm not right about everything. I totally know that, but I am really good at body-mind stuff, because that's my passion and my expertise, and I'm great at intuition too. So I'll see you Monday, 8:15 Central Standard Time. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.